The thin industry was very important for Bolivia. Also, it right now is currently still very important, but in the past was even more. Okay, so let's take a look at the economic impact that the thin industry had on Bolivian economy after the era of the silver industry. Okay? As we know, we had the we had the silver barons, but then we had the thin barons led by Simon Patiño. So some of the most important data that we can see that we can see from our perspective is that the is that by the beginning of the 1900s, the thin industry was about half of all the exports that Bolivia made to the world. Okay, so the thin industry was the main component of the economic of the economy of the Bolivian economy. Thanks to this, Bolivia could modernize. Bolivia could build railroads and modernize its infrastructure. Also, it was very important for politics because Simon Patiño and the late and the beginning of the 1900s presidents were like two hands that were inseparable. So, in fact, some of the Bolivia's policies that were made were all in favor of the interests of Simon Patiño. For example, the miners bank that was created thanks to Simon Patiño and and was greatly influential by those times. Also, we have to remember the Katabi massacre, in which striking miners and the armed forces and the state armed forces crashed in fierce battles, and that ended up in the massacre of many miners. This was an illustration, this was a picture of the of the ongoing crash between economic classes that happened there. Also, furthermore, we can realize, we can take into account the all the infrastructure that was made, all the mining facilities that were built during the oligarch government that initiated in the beginning of the 1900s until 1920. So, for example, this is the Patiños smelter that was one of the top notch in the industries that were made in all of South America, and of course, with a great production of tin, with a great production, we also need great consumption. So Bolivian politics shift towards the towards an alliance with the US, because the US was one of the main consumers of tin by those times. Okay, so for example, the Bolivian government made the the thin control agreement that was made in order to stabilize the prices of the thin, and also Bolivia made Bolivia become into a great exporter and one of the most important fundamentals in the thin industry that was by those times.